Hey everyone, it's Michael, GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. Earlier today, I had a review that you guys already saw probably because I uploaded it before this current video you're watching. By the way, I'm still very congested, still probably a little sick. Sorry about that if I cough and sniff throughout the review, like I said in my previous couple of videos this week. Anyway, I had a review earlier for Goosebumps Presents TV book number 14, You Can't Scare Me. And now I have a review for another TV book, since I'm kind of taking a small break in between GYG's final couple of books I have to review, and then rank everything for that series, that era of Goosebumps. I read some Series 2000 books, and then today I read these books pretty much back to back. Took me a few hours, but not even that, because these books are pretty short. These are about 60 pages apiece. This is a review for Goosebumps Presents TV book number 9, Go Eat Worms. I'm not a massive fan of Go Eat Worms, the original book, or the episode, or this book here that's an adaptation of the script of the old TV episode adaptation of the book. Yes, this is basically a novelization for any of you who know what that means. I try to define that typically when I make these reviews for these TV books. A lot of kids don't know. A lot of younger people don't know. A lot of people haven't even heard of a novelization. But that's what this is. It's not written by R.L. Stine. I think pretty much all of these TV books, he didn't do any of them. This is adapted by Tracy West, who I see her name quite a bit on a lot of these TV books that I've reviewed for the channel. Tracy West adapted this from the teleplay by Rick Drew. And Rick Drew is a name that's commonly, associated with Goosebumps, the old TV show. Of course, based on the novel by R.L. Stine. Go Eat Worms. The original book is kind of humorous. It's kind of a little goofy, a little weird, about a weird kid who loves to play with worms and play pranks with worms, and all kinds of weird things happen. There's like a baseball field at his school and stuff, or in his neighborhood, something like that, where he gets worms and all of that for his pranks, and he keeps a lot of them in a big old like fish tank or something in his basement too, with all the mud and dirt inside of that. He's just a strange kid. His name is Todd, by the way. Every Todd I've ever known, even to this day, are strange people. I love them deeply, but they're strange people. This Todd is no different. He's obsessed with worms. And like I said, the original book, I don't really love it. Like, it seems like some people have like a familiar, kind of an appreciation for it. I have moments of it that I appreciate, but it's hit or miss with a lot of people. But it's not the worst of Goosebumps I've ever read. Let me tell you that much. So, the original book, not a massive fan. The TV episode I wasn't really looking forward to either. I watched it. It's really rough. Really, really rough. Between the really bad music that I just checked out my old review just to kind of, recall some of this stuff. I remember the music being pretty rough. I remember the acting being pretty rough. It was just kind of a mess all around as that particular episode went along. And then the finale, like the final chapter of this book, which, by the way, this is a novelization, again, of that script for that original show's episode adaptation of the book. Pretty much everything in here is event by event, like word for word of what happens in the episode for 20 minutes long, or 22, or whatever it was. I gotta tell you, this actual book, kind of like the You Can't Scare Me novelization, I pretty much enjoyed almost all of it. Like, it wasn't bad. The bad humor and stuff worked better here. The pranks and stuff felt more mean-spirited here. It felt like it just worked better in this book. And I don't know what I like more, if it's the original book, if it's the TV episode, if it's this. But this one seems like it's trying to do a little bit better with the execution than the actual episode did, which makes me wonder. Maybe there's a possibility, maybe there's a possibility that the scripts for the show, on even the bad episodes, were better than the actual episodes, and nobody seemed to know that the transforming, putting this on screen from script to screen, maybe there was more of an issue of not realizing how well that would translate to screen back in the day. And maybe they always had good scripts that just kind of, fell apart when they were being filmed. I don't know. I kind of wonder about that sometimes. But anyway, with all that being said, I enjoyed the book for the most part. It's basically about this kid named Todd. Again, he loves worms. He collects them in his backyard all the time. He collects them by a lake and stuff. He has a friend, I think his name is Danny or something. I don't remember. I don't care enough to remember. The best friend kind of gets mad at Todd sometimes. They're doing a science project right now. So is Todd's sister, who has this big, massive bird thing, like a papier-mâché bird her and her friend made for their project. But Todd himself is, of course, a weirdo. And he's always messing with people, playing pranks on them. And his best friend gets mad at him quite a bit over the kind of things he does, especially with the kind of mean-spirited experiments that Todd pulls on these worms that he collects. They're going to try to do some of these science experiments involving basically burning the worms alive, doing all kinds of things, putting them in really cold environments, just to see what they do, take a bunch of notes, that kind of thing. Not really sure how teachers would react to that now, in 2023. That might be a little bit bizarre. I don't remember that portion of the episode. You know, it's weird to me. But Todd is kind of a mean-spirited kid. You kind of feel bad for the worms and what he does to them, but you don't get a whole lot of examples of things that he does to them, like, on the screen, you know. He just kind of mentions, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to stretch them, you know. It's kind of gross. It's kind of gross, and if you're like myself, or mainly my wife, who is absolutely disgusted and hates worms deeply, then, excuse me, I'm laughing at her. She's not in here, but I'm just laughing at her because she makes me laugh. She's funny. I love you, Rachel. But if you're grossed out by worms, this book is not going to be for you, because it's a fairly gross book. Because all of a sudden, worms are showing up everywhere in Todd's life. They already kind of were, but now they're in more bizarre places, like his bed, like his food. And he kind of wonders if people are pulling pranks, mainly his sister Reggie, who he does not get along with at all. He doesn't know if he's caught up in a prank war. He doesn't know. That's really the gist of this book. And then the finale gets pretty crazy, a little wild, and that was kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I think I remember enjoying that in the book, or in the actual episode as well. I remember the ending, like the actual, like, event, the conclusion, the solution, whatever, the resolution. I remember all of that being better in the original book, from what I vaguely remember of it. Not perfect, but better than what we got in the episode and in the adaptation here in this novelization. But then there's the final chapter of this book, which is like the final 2 minutes of the episode that came out that's, you know, this is adapted from. And that is awful. It involves fishing, and it's awful. It's just bad, period, bad. With that being said, though, it's about as bad as the You Can't Scare Me TV book ending as well, which is also the TV episode's ending. With all that being said, though, Goosebumps TV books aren't always bad. They're very middle of the road. They're very inoffensive. Inoffensive. That's the word I want to use. They're very inoffensive. They're just kind of what they are. You know, they're just, if you love the TV show and you love the atmosphere and feel of Goosebumps books, one thing I forgot to say in my You Can't Scare Me review is that these writers they picked to adapt these from the TV scripts are trying to make them feel like R.L. Stine wrote them. And that's great. These are very, very, very well written in that respect, if you like that kind of thing. If you like R.L. Stine's writing style, these TV books feel like that. That's a good thing in my opinion, because you want it to feel like Goosebumps. You know, and I think the TV show did a great job of catching that tone and really maintaining either the silly aspects or the scary aspects. They really did a good job of doing that with the 90s show, typically. Almost always. These books typically always have that going for them, and I really appreciate that about them. They also happen to have a section of the book that has colorized photos from the episode. And this is the thing. The colorized photos look great. These aren't blurry. I've seen some of the books, I think like Ghost Beach, I believe, that was kind of blurry. It might have been the way it was filmed or whatever, but the screenshots in this particular one look good. They also have writing, as you can tell, like here, here, and here, that tell you a little bit about the story. And unlike You Can't Scare Me, this one didn't ruin everything you hadn't gotten to yet in the dead middle of the book, but it told you quite a bit. It didn't ruin like the ending of the book and stuff, like the You Can't Scare Me book did. That book, literally, this one right here, ruined like the ending of the book. Everything about the end of the book. The reporter stuff, all of that. It ruined it. So I'd be kind of mad if I had never seen the episode. I was reading this particular TV book and then had it spoiled like that and didn't know how bad it was actually going to get. But Go Eat Worms, it spoils a little bit, but not a lot, frankly. Anyway, with all that being said, 60 pages long, not a very long read, nothing too annoying or anything. Go Eat Worms, I remember being kind of a short book anyway. I think it was like 110 pages, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. I don't know. With all that being said, though, Goosebumps presents TV book number 9, Go Eat Worms, by Tracy West. I always forget the names. Well written, for the most part, more well executed than the actual episode it's based on, and if I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I'd give it a 3 out of 5 stars. Pretty solid. I never thought I would rate this and You Can't Scare Me's TV episode, TV book, on a 3 out of 5 basis. I never thought I would do that. It's just kind of bizarre to me. Not bad, though. Not bad, though, at all. For 60 pages, not bad. Really was enjoyable for the most part. Do I recommend this? If you love Go Eat Worms, for whatever reason, the episode, the book, any of it, this might be up your alley. You can get it for like $5 or $10. Not hard to come across at all. Would I recommend it to people? Not heavily. It's okay. It's fine. It's decent for what it is. I think You Can't Scare Me is a better TV book for the most part until the very ending, which both have bad endings, like I said. But this is fine for what it is. Eventually I'll rate these TV books. It's going to be really hard to rate one over another because of how weak these typically are. Anyway, with all that being said, Go Eat Worms, 3 out of 5 stars for me. Have you guys read this TV book? What do you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to hear what you all have to say about this kind of mediocre read, if you will. But again, Tracy West did a good job with the writing style. Feels very Stein, even more so than You Can't Scare Me did from a different writer that I cannot remember the name of, and I should probably show some respect. Teddy Margulies? I'm not good with names, dude. I'm sorry. Anyway, what'd you guys think about these reviews today for the TV books? I will see you next week on Monday. Hopefully, God willing, I will have some reviews for you next week. Hopefully, God willing. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Friday today. And I hope to bomb out a lot of these Goosebumps reviews and kind of get them out there, man. We've had like, I think there's 7 or 8 new videos I put up this week or something. I don't know. I really want to get this together and get reviews out there for you guys, because you guys deserve that. You've waited 2 years for me to really kind of take the time and spend more time on Goosebumps for you, and I really want to stay more dedicated for you guys. But anyway, next week we will finish up the GYG series. I'll probably start that on Monday. I'm not going to guarantee that, though. I might read one more book before I go back to GYG. We'll see. But that's my plan. Well, I'll review another GYG book or something of the last 2 that I have. I'm going to do the ranking videos next week, God willing, assuming that I'm feeling better, my voice is better, my congestion's gone after the doctor's appointment I will have at some point, and hopefully I can make those videos for you next week and have them ready, or at least by next weekend. At least by next weekend, look forward to the GYG reviews, assuming I'm alive. Anyway, thank you all for watching. God bless you. Thank you again for being here, and goodbye.